I'm Lisa Stone. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Parenting Aces.
For years, we parents have been asking for alternatives to the USTA junior tennis competition schedule. And in recent years, we've gotten the UTR events, we've gotten other unsanctioned events, and now, starting this summer, we have a new event brought to us by Johan Kriek and his academy down in Florida called the Kriek Cup. And I'm really excited to have Johan on the podcast this week to talk about his event and what makes it different and his plans for growing the event moving forward. It's pretty cool. He's working in conjunction with UTR, so the matches will count toward a player's rating on UTR, which is awesome. And he's got all sorts of really cool ideas for the tournament and for growing the tournament. And this is part of a series that started in Europe and has been very successful there. And it's kind of cool to see a European format brought to the States. It's something, again, that we parents have been begging for seriously for the past several years. So I'm excited for y'all to hear about this and hopefully encourage you to get your kids signed up and take a trip down to South Florida for a few days. It's going to be really fun. With that, I also want to make sure that you guys know that entries are still open for the Saul Schwartz Save College Tennis All-In tournaments. The one in Atlanta is July 17th through 19th at Georgia Gwinnett College's tennis facility. And then we're also doing an event in Baltimore, August 12 and 13 at the Suburban Club. So for information on those events and signing up, check the show notes and you'll have all the information you need. And we'll also have in the show notes information to sign up for the Kriek Cup, of course. So always be sure and check out those notes. If we talk about any sort of discounts or specials or anything like that, that will always be located in the show notes, which you can find on parentingaces.com. You can find in iTunes, YouTube, Libsyn, wherever you like to consume your podcast. So without any further delay, I bring you Johan Kriek. Johan Kriek, thank you so much for joining us on the Parenting Aces podcast again. I always love chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Always a pleasure.
Well, you're doing something new this year, and I'm excited to have you talk about it. I mean, last time you were on the show, you were just getting ready to start your new academy down in Florida, and so now you've been at it a bit, and you're getting involved with something called the 10 Pro Global Junior Tour, and I'd love for you to explain to our listeners what that junior tour is all about and why you decided to get involved with it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Now, I was obviously here in Palm Beach Gardens. We run the tennis academy out of here now for the past 10 months. Been very successful. And because we're at the beautiful PGA Resort and Spa in Palm Beach Gardens, we have the options to do a number of things. Obviously, in the summer, a lot of people leave Florida because of the heat, whatever. So the tennis courts became available, and with a beautiful 350-room resort and spa, we thought, well, there's maybe some things that we can boost some business for them. So that was basically the idea. And I researched junior tournaments and literally fell into the idea of doing it with 10 Pro Global Junior Tour because this guy, Goran Novakovic, leads the whole thing, and he's been at it for about 5 or 6 years in Europe. And he runs really big junior tournaments that are very, very successful, using UTR rankings, etc., and giving points for UTR. And he runs them at these big academies in Europe. And he was looking to come to the U.S. to introduce these tournaments, and I was the first one to call him. And we started talking about it very late in the year. Actually, when I say late in the year, the tournament is August 13th through 19th here at PGA Resort, and we have a camp for the participants the week of the 7th through the 12th of August this year. And he runs these academy tournaments at Nadal's Academy, Muratoglu, Kleister's Academy, and he's very successful. So we decided to do it here in Florida. It was his first tournament in the U.S. So we only got onto this idea somewhere in March, and so it's quite late to be able to pull something off, but that's always my situation. I always go for it, and we're looking forward to hosting a tournament for under 10s through under 16, boys and girls, singles only. There's no doubles, and you are guaranteed 4 singles matches if you play in your age group. However, they do allow for you to play up one age group. So if you're under 10, you can play under 11. If you're under 11, you play under 12. So it's under 10, under 11, under 12, under 13, 14, 15, 16. Obviously, the 16s don't play up. There's no others in front of them. So a very successful guy in Europe, and he wants to expand his tennis reach. And he's been at it for now 6 years, and then we're really looking forward to doing this here.
Is it a USTA sanctioned event?
No, not at all. It's sanctioned by 10 Pro Global Junior Tour, and he comes in and helps me run it with him, and we do a JV on this issue.
Great. So, interestingly, the age groups are by year, like the Little Mo series of tournaments. And exactly. I'm curious, do you know why he decided to do it year by year as opposed to like we typically do in the U.S., under 10, under 12, like that?
Well, I think he wanted to be quite different from everything else. Like if you go and play the Orange Bowl or you play any of the other major USTA tournaments, pretty much unless you play doubles, if you lose 2 times in singles, you're out. I mean, you can lose first round and then maybe you play a back draw and that's another match. But it really, considering the incredible expense and time-consuming effort of parents with their juniors, you know that very well. To travel far to go to a tournament and spend all that money, and then suddenly the kid loses, had a tough match and loses, and then, boom, loses again. You're basically out of the tournament. So, it's not conducive for people to travel far and go through the expense and time to do this. So I've decided to do it where, you can play a lot more matches. So the minimum matches you will play are 4 singles matches. And if you play up one age bracket, obviously you double. So it makes a lot of sense because you get a lot of matches under your belt.
So you can actually enter 2 different age brackets.
Yes, you can only play one up. So if you play in the under 13s, you can play in the under 14s as well.
So that's also something very different from USTA these days, where you're limited to your age group or playing up, but you can't do both.
Well, there's 3 basic differentiators between 10 Pro's approach to the tournament and the USTA, and none of, it's not that one is much better than the other, but I just think in terms of having more match practice for kids that travel from afar, because we will get probably from maybe 30 or 40 countries kids to come and play because they love to play these tournaments. And so we already have something like 26 kids from different countries coming to play in the tournament in Florida. So there's 3 basic differentiators. One, you can play each age group that you are born in that year, and you can play 1 year up. Also, there's coaching allowed on the court after a first set. So you can come and coach on the court for 2 minutes, and that's quite different. So, kids are kids, and these little guys need to be calmed down, or they need to be, told what to do, and then hopefully they can do it. I think it's a great idea, and the fact that you can play so many matches, I mean that's totally different, and play up one age bracket. So I think it's a great idea.
When I was coming up in USTA, and I didn't play at a very high level, but you could play multiple age groups. And I don't know at what point USTA decided to discontinue that, but, I remember, we always entered our age group plus the one up from us, just for the reason that you just said, so we could get the most amount of matches, most bang for our buck.
Exactly. And that's the premise behind this all. So we hope to grow this 10 Pro Global Tour in the U.S. I'm going to help Goran, find some new venues. So I think it's going to be pretty successful because he's very successful in Europe. Now, obviously, Europe is quite different because you can just hop a train or a very quick car ride and you can be in another country. So so he's very successful there. Nadal's Academy, they did one in May this year. They had 500 kids in the first year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
500.
talk about the idea of why these events are teamed with academies specifically, because I was looking on the 10 Pro Global website, and it looks like every single one of the events is held at an academy.
Good question. I think it's just because of the name recognition, number one, and also that they probably have all the facilities that you would need. And that's a similar situation with me here at PGA. The big differentiator for me was that, and he was looking to talk to other academies in the U.S., I mean, up north and so forth. And it's the fact that I had a hotel right on site that is it's a big plus. And, and plus Palm Beach Gardens is a beautiful town to visit. The beaches are minutes away, incredible shopping. It's easy to get around. Airports are close by. Palm Beach International Airport is 25 minutes from PGA. Miami is an hour and 15 minutes away. So it's very close by that you can fly into, and all the amenities are here. I mean, the resort is beautiful. You got 350 rooms, and they charge $119 a night plus tax. So, I mean, normally these are nearly $300 rooms in season. So it's a good deal for people to come in and experience the tournament here. We play on clay. Yeah, it's hot in the summer, but it's hot everywhere. And we have great partners in Ballon Isle. Trish Faulkner, she's right next door to us. So if we need more courts, we can go to probably 3 or 4 other country clubs. Plus, the city of Palm Beach Gardens has a beautiful public tennis facility with 20 clay courts. So we can easily finish the tournament. It's not a problem.
Wow, that's awesome. And can you talk a little bit about how you guys are promoting the tournament, obviously through things like being on the Parenting Aces podcast, but what are some other things y'all are doing to promote this?
Well, I'm talking to Kaz Kozlowski. He's doing a segment on his show in Sarasota with tennis, Inside Tennis. He does a good job with us. We've reached out to every single academy in the Florida region. I would say because we started so late, because the tournament is in August, we basically got the okay to do it in March. So immediately we had to start printing up materials. We've got to get the websites going and all of that stuff. It took a bit of time to get everything organized, and we were a little bit behind. So we are. From my point of view, the best thing to do is to point of direct contact with academy people. I called Saviano, Harold Solomon, Castel Sanchez, and I sent brochures to friends of mine that have academies in New Orleans, Atlanta. Direct contact points with people that know me and know what we do. And I think if each one of those guys bring a half a dozen kids to 10 or 2 dozen kids maybe, the tournament will grow to 150 kids very quickly, and that's my goal, to just at least have 150 kids in the different age groups all together and run the tournament, and it'll grow in the future because it's going to be great.
That's fantastic. How will the selection and seeding work for your tournament? Is that something you handle, or is that something that the organization will handle?
No, they've done it for so many years. I haven't done it yet, so I know that the guy knows a lot of the kids that come to play. He will know them, especially the Europeans. There's kids coming from all over, man, from Algeria, from different parts of France. And I mean, it's just from all over. There's basically 26 kids, 26 countries already represented by entries. So he'll just, anyway, because if it's a compass draw, you will always play against people of your same level pretty much. In the first round, it's hard to say, well, here's a French kid and he's going to play a kid from the USDA that's top 10 in the nation or whatever. I'm just using it as an example. Maybe the USDA kid beats that kid very badly, or maybe that kid is not well known in the States. He hasn't played here yet, and suddenly beats a highly ranked junior from the U.S. He'll keep moving up into better, and that's why a compass draw is so cool, because you will always drop down or go up to a better level.
Right. No, I love that. We use that in our tournaments as well, and I think the more competitive the matches can be, the better the experience for everybody.
Exactly. And the thing is, you may have a bad day or two, but now you have 4 days that you can play, so you have no excuse not to be ready and play hard. So I think that's why you will always find a level that you belong in. That's basically what it comes down to.
Let's go back to the on-court coaching aspect of these tournaments, because that's something we incorporated into the Sols as well. And last year was our first year to do it, and it ended up working out great. And I'm curious what kind of parameters you guys will have around the coaching during the matches and what your expectations are for that.
Well, obviously, the first year I have a lot of volunteers. I'll have a lot of my coaches in my academy volunteer to help with the scorekeeping, keeping order, making sure that, sort of a super refs are always around. There's always somebody that's going to take care of one super ref or what I would say a super ref, one of my volunteer super refs that knows tennis. It could be a coach, somebody that's really into tennis, members of that club here that wants to volunteer to oversee things and just keep order, basically, and watch every match is watched that way. The coaching is going to be allowed after the first set for 2 minutes only. So the stopwatch starts when the guy walks on the court, or the coach or the parent walks on the court, and 2 minutes later, boom, you got to come off. And it's been very successfully implemented in Europe. So I hope that we can do the same here. I think it's wise. These kids are not professional tennis players yet, and, sometimes there could be a complete meltdown, and they need to learn. And I think it's a wise thing to do, and I think the tennis quality will also increase. So if it gets to a set all, then obviously you can be coached again. But obviously, if you win in straight sets, you only get coached once, or you have the option not to get coached, So it's an option thing.
And does the coach, and I'm doing air quotes, does the coach have to be an actual coach, or it can be a parent?
Yeah, it can be a parent. It could be a chaperone. It could be a coach. It could be a friend. It doesn't, it has to be determined at signing who your coach is.
For the whole tournament?
Yeah.
Okay. So, interesting. I'm wondering how many you'll end up with, that have actual coaches or parents or friends. It'll be interesting to kind of take a look at that after the fact, because one of the arguments against allowing coaching at junior tournaments has always been, well, not everybody can afford to bring their coach. And so it creates this divide. And in my experience, the kids, especially the younger kids, all have somebody there with them that can go on court and give them some words of wisdom, even if it's just like you said, to calm them down.
Right. No, absolutely. No, I would suspect that there may be a few 16-year-olds or maybe even 15-year-olds that could travel by themselves, but I can't foresee that. And like I said, we'll see how it works this year. Obviously, it's something new, this coaching thing on junior tennis, but it goes on anyway off the side of the courts. So, it's a red herring in many ways, but at the same time, we're trying to make sense out of the chaos at some time. And I just think having a sort of an orderly system by which you allow 2 minutes after each set. If it goes to set all, then you obviously go in for another 2 minutes and hopefully help out. So I think it's a wise thing to try and do, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the entry fee for the tournament and how y'all arrived at that number.
Yeah, I mean, he charges $140 to enter the tournament, and that's what he's decided to do in other parts of the world. So he's going to have he's basically the same entry fees. They have like €115, which is about $140 in Europe. That's what their standard entry fees are over there. So he just made it the same and just converted to dollars. So it's $140 to enter.
And with a guarantee of 4 matches.
Guarantee of 4 matches. Yeah, you're guaranteed to have a good rate at the hotel. There's a special rate for people that want to come in early and get used to the Florida heat and play on clay. So we decided to do a camp for just the participants, a special camp from August 7th through the 12th. If they want to stay for 1 day, that's fine. We can custom design it. They don't have to play the whole week. But that week of the 7th through the 12th is the camp at my academy just for the kids that want to play in the tournament and get used to the heat and whatever. So they can come in for just a day or a session or every day.
And what will they be doing at the camp specifically?
Well, they can have some match play. Obviously, they can bring their private coaches with them. and participate, and I can help out. And it's just a lighthearted camp, so kids can get used to the heat and get used to the clay when they fly from wherever they are. Especially Californians probably want to just get used to the clay and the heat here. In fact, I have a kid from California right now, and it's brutal, and they're not used to that humidity here. So it'll probably be wise for kids to come in a few days early and just to acclimatize to this humidity and heat and the rain. So it's probably wise to come in a few days before and just hit some balls and just work on some things and play a set or two or three or four or whatever they want to do.
Awesome. Yeah, I will attest to that climate change. It's rough, and I live in Atlanta, and it's rough coming down to South Florida in the summer. So for somebody that's not used to the humidity, woof.
Yeah, if you fit in Florida, you can play anywhere in the world. That's for sure.
That is true. Well, so you mentioned rain, and rain is always, the kind of the bane of the tournament experience. And because you guys are going to use clay courts, that does make things a little bit easier if there's just one of those little light, quick rainstorms that is typical in the summer in Florida. But do you have a backup plan if, God forbid, the weather doesn't participate? Or, cooperate.
Yeah, you can guarantee it's going to rain after 12 o'clock somewhere in that afternoon. There's most likely the chance that it will rain pretty much every afternoon. So like I said earlier before, I have Ballon Isle. I have, this is where Serena and Venus live, and Ballon Isle is right next door to us. And they have 20 clay courts. So I already talked to Trish Faulkner about that, and they are willing to give us a few courts if it's possible. And I'm talking to everybody. So we will have enough courts. And plus, like I said, there's a public facility that is minutes away from PGA 2. So I would say between our courts, our 19 clay courts, a couple other courts at different clubs, we would have 30 to 40 tennis courts easy to finish the matches on. So if we have to double up and play at different places, we'd like to play everything at PGA. But if the weather forecast, which is pretty accurate around Florida nowadays, if we know that the whole afternoon is going to be rained out, we're going to spread it out earlier in the day at different clubs to finish those matches.
Fantastic. And for those who aren't familiar with South Florida weather, it can be raining in one place, and 5 minutes away it could be clear blue skies. So,
Absolutely.
It's the craziest thing how that works there. So what are your goals?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's absolutely right. It could rain and the 1 square mile area, cats and dogs and everything is soaked, and then you drive 2 minutes away and the courts are bone dry. So we will just be, obviously taking care of the matches way before. If we know that the next 2 days we're going to have rain every day, we'll just make plans accordingly and play, 8 matches here, 10 matches there, whatever, and just spread it out. And that's easily done.
Yeah, for sure. So what I was getting ready to ask you is what your goals are for this event, and do you see this becoming an annual event on the junior tennis calendar?
Absolutely. I'm talking with Goran, the owner of 10 Pro Global Junior Tour. I'm talking to him about expansion in Florida. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the summers. In the summer, it's also summer in Europe. So a lot of kids go to other academies or tournaments, and they have tournaments also early in the year in Europe, like Nadal's Academy. From May and June, they have quite a number of European tournaments. But he wants to expand into other areas of the world, and I think it's smart. I think there's going to be a huge growth spurt for him probably in India or China and also in the U.S. So I'm trying to help him out and see how the first one, the Kriek Cup, goes, and hopefully maybe we can have a little 3-stop tour in Florida for that specific format. And I think it'll be very helpful for kids because now they can come to Florida for 2-3 weeks and play the tour here and maybe gain some confidence and gain some experience. And yet when they fly here, they don't just fly here for one tournament; they can fly here for maybe a series of them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And again, the results from these matches all are entered into UTR, so that's a big incentive for the kids to take the time to come play the events, is especially the ones that have college tennis as their goal. Anything that you can do to improve your UTR is going to be helpful in that regard.
Yes, absolutely. No, he signed up with UTR, and they are very supportive of his tournaments. And obviously, most kids, the way tennis is now, and the way that the sports structure is, in terms of how you can go to college, I think I'm all for going the college route. I'm not saying it's the only route, but because of the professional tennis is now it's so tough to break into it, and it's also the success of most of the tennis that is being played on the professional tour is happening now late in the 20s and into the 30s. And I think that lends itself towards thinking seriously about going to college first, get a degree. You're going to play so much. If you play high D1 tennis, you are going to be playing a lot of tennis, great facilities, and you get an education. I think it's a wise choice to go that route. Now, you can always decide, okay, and they do allow in college to play professional tennis tournaments. So the rules have allowed that now, and I think it was very smart of the NCAA to do that. So I think it's a must to look at the college route because of the opportunities that exist within the system to play professional tournaments as well. And it's just smart to have an education behind. You never know what could happen with your body, or something happens and you get injured or whatever. But you had always something to fall back on. And I didn't go that route. I went straight professional. But if my kids are in that situation, eventually I would push them hard to go to college first, because it is an incredible place to train if you D1, high-level D1s. So, that's just how I see it. So I'm very happy that he signed up with the UTR to help promote these tournaments and help promote the kids.
Yeah, I think it's great. I do. I think it's great. So for somebody that wants to sign up to play the Kriek Cup this year, how do they do that?
Well, they can go to my website, which is www.johankriektennis.com, and just go to the Kriek Cup, USA 2017. There's a link to 10 Pro Global Junior Tour, so they can enter with their entry forms on that link. And they can pay by credit card on it, or they can send a check to the address that's on that link. If they are Americans and they don't want to deal with that stuff, they can always just write a check to Johan Kriek Tennis /Kriek Cup USA and send a check to that address. But they have to enter on that link so that the 10 Pro Global Tour knows who's entering. They can't just send a check to mine and show up. They have to go to the link and sign up.
Okay, and for my listeners, I'll include that link in the show notes, so you'll be able to just click on that and go straight to the page. So that'll be easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. And then I did notice that on the tournament page, you do have a place to get the special rate for the hotel, which is awesome, and to be able to stay right on site is huge.
Exactly. No, they can just call that 800 number for the PGA Resort and Spa and use the promo code. Then people know that this is a kid that's coming to play the Kriek Cup, and they get the special rate. And that'd be awesome. Yeah. So we look forward to welcoming a lot of kids here and have fun with it. And it's our first year, so it's always it's crazy the first year. But once we get in the groove over the next couple of years, I think it's going to be a huge tournament.
I think so, too. I love the whole concept of it. We'll have to have you back on the podcast after the tournament and kind of do a debrief and see how it went.
Absolutely. We'd love to.
So I'm looking at your flyer, and it says powered by Wilson, so I'm assuming that Wilson is one of the sponsors of the event?
Yes, Wilson is a global sponsor. I have a couple of small sponsors involved with us as well. I'm very fortunate that the Sports Commission here in Palm Beach Gardens is a great entity, and they are very much behind the Kriek Cup USA as well, and they are a sponsor as well. So I got them on board after the flyers were printed, so their logos are not on there, but we're going to have all of their logos everywhere as well. So the Palm Beach Gardens Sports Commission has been a great friend of ours and would like to see us succeed in a big way.
I'm sure. So are there some, perks of having sponsors like Wilson and to have 10 Pro behind you and to have the Sports Commission behind you? Are they offering prizes or anything else for the players?
Well, that's what we are working on right now, is to finalize all of that stuff. So there will be goodie bags and stuff that makes sense for all the kids, and so we're finalizing all of those details as we go along.
Fantastic. I'm really excited about this event, Johan. Anything that's kind of outside the box is something that catches my attention. And, we've been talking for years about the fact that things are a little broken in our junior comp system here in the U.S. And so it's nice to see other organizations coming out and creating, alternatives for these kids. Yeah.
Well, I just think there's so many routes that we can take, and the kids, like I said, if kids just want to, they got to be kids first. They got to play tennis. They got to have fun with the sport. At 10 years old, they are not professional. At 14, they're not professional. But at 15, you can start saying, okay, well, this kid has a lot of talent. Okay, let's, and the colleges start looking at them and whatever. So there's always those choices to be made after that. But I just want to see tennis grow. I have a lot of reach outside of the United States as well, and just me calling the guy out of the blue online, I found it. I didn't know this guy, and we ended up talking for a while, and it suddenly started to gel, and we decided to pull the trigger on this event, and hopefully we'll do some more in the States. Who knows? Maybe there's some in California. Could have a hardcourt swing in California down the road. You just don't know. We'll see how everything plays out. He's a very busy guy. You can imagine all the tournaments he runs in Europe, and now he's expanding to other countries as well. So I hope to down the road be involved with something maybe in South Africa, because I'm talking to them, and maybe there's some issues there that we can address. I can't be the only African-born athlete to win a Grand Slam outside of Yannick Noah and so forth. So I think we would like to see something like that and create a new buzz,
For sure, yeah. So let's switch gears for a second and talk a little bit about your academy and how things are going in your first 10 months.
Well, it's been an absolute whirlwind. We are so fortunate to be here with great partners. Like I said, within a very few short months, I got the Kriek Cup going. We have made some great strides with meeting with the city of Palm Beach Gardens, which is one of the best-run cities in America. They are completely into sports and activities. You can imagine it's a young community. It's a small city. It's beautifully planned. It runs like a clockwork. They have incredible access to airports, and traffic patterns here are fantastic. It's a fast-growing community. They are building probably something like 15,000 homes in the next 20 years here. It's a fast-growing community, and it's very well planned out. So I'm looking. This is my last stopping place. So I'm very fortunate to be here at PGA Resort and Spa. They've been great to us, the ownership, the management. The director of tennis, Bob Werman, is a class guy, and everything is working well together. So I'm very fortunate to have had this opportunity to come here and do my academy. So I'm looking forward to a long time here and running the academy. And we have kids from all over the world now coming. I've got kids from California. I've got kids from Poland. I got kids from Germany, from Japan. We have a lot of traction coming over for the next season into September through May. We expect a lot of kids to come. So we're excited about the future for the academy. First of all, just interviewed some coaches yesterday, high-quality coaches from Europe. They want to come and work with us. So I'm very excited about the future.
That's great. And if parents want, if they're vacationing in Florida and they want their kids to come hit with you or train with you for a few days or a couple weeks or whatever, is that something that's an option?
Well, because I'm a small academy, I can be much more customized, So we can certainly do that. If a kid comes only for a day, there's not much I can do really. So that costs a lot of money if you come for one day. But if you come for a week, maybe you can get something out of it. Obviously, in the summer, we run our academy similar to the others in terms of their scheduling. Typically, the academy year starts. For kids that are in the local market, the academy starts similar to what their school starts. So school starts very early in Florida, sometime middle August, so that's an issue with our tournament as well. But there's quite a few parents that are homeschoolers, so that doesn't really matter. But We have our academy starts September 1, runs through the end of May, typically, in that region. That's the regular academy after-school program. But then we have, homeschoolers or international kids that come and train for, ITF tournaments and stuff, and they could stay for a month or more. So we have the flexibility to create a customized program, whether it's training twice a day or having just an afternoon and do homeschool in the morning. And by the way, we have a fantastic homeschool program that's going to be implemented in August, and I'm very excited about that. So we will have homeschooling programs at PGA within walking distance of the courts. So that's going to start in August as well and be ready to go. So kids can come to my academy and go to school as well.
That's fantastic. And for the kids that come there full time, do they live on site, or how does that work?
Yes, we have villas, we have condos, we have all kinds of properties that are in a pool. So it even has room service, all of these apartments. So we are on site, so you can not only stay at the hotel if you want, and if you want long term with your parents, you can rent a 2 or a 3 bedroom. Have tons of these available. So that's what we use currently. So it works out really well.
Oh, that sounds like the ultimate in luxury. Gosh,
it's basically
service and tennis
and training. Exactly.
Yeah, God, that sounds wonderful. So, what else do you want the Parenting Aces audience to know about your academy? To know about your tournament? How can we help you?
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm an academy. I have programs from Quick Start all the way to ITF, or even ATP, WTA players came here to train for blocks of time. We have that ability. We have hard courts. We have a lot of clay courts. If we have overflow in terms of what we need to do, if people want to practice on the same time, because, they don't build a lot of hard courts at facilities. So we have other hard courts that we use. So we cover everything. We have incredible gym at the PGA Resort with fantastic trainers. They are highly skilled, highly accredited pros that are great in fitness. So we cover every single base. I do a lot of my own mental training with kids, and it doesn't take me very long to figure out what goes on when a kid plays a tournament or if they play match practice within the academy, what goes on between the years. So I do a lot of my own mental stuff with these kids and help them out. And, we basically cover it from A to Z. And we have a fantastic site. We have a great spot in Florida. And, it really is conducive to practicing on clay here. Obviously, most of our practice in the academy happens on clay because clay makes you really work hard, construct points. And, that's the best surface to learn on if you're a young kid from age 9 or 8 or whatever. So, we have different age groups, different quality players, local players, international players. So we have a gamut of them all.
That's awesome. And in terms of your tournament, is there an entry deadline for the event?
Yes, there is on the website. I think the deadline is 2 weeks prior to the tournament, which is quite late. So we don't want to wait that long. We'd like to have our draws made up by 2 weeks prior to the tournament. And but yeah, if they go on that link and just look for the tournament, the Kriek Cup USA 2017, they will get all the information they need and how to enter and so forth, and get themselves organized for the tournament and get their housing sorted out, whether it's the hotel or if they come with parents, they even have the option to rent villas or something for a week or two. So it's quite diverse in terms of what you can stay here, where you can stay.
One of the things that we're trying to do at Parenting Aces is kind of get parents to shift their mindset in terms of when they sign their kids up for tournaments. And with the USTA system, there's kind of this habit among the parents to wait till the very last second, right before the registration deadline, to see who else is signed up before you make a decision. And with UTR events, you don't need to do that, because you just need to sign up and play. And we're trying to really kind of talk up that idea of, if you see a tournament, it fits in your family's schedule, it's in a place that you can get to easily, and, the tournament perks sound like something that would benefit your child, sign up. don't wait till the deadline.
Yeah.
And I love that y'all have your deadline 2 weeks out from the actual start date. That's not a typical U.S. tournament MO.
Yeah. No, we like I said, it's our first year, and we want to have a little bit of lead time to work on stuff and get our draws sorted out. But yeah, I mean, look, I understand why people do that. They want to see, is my little Johnny going to play against Jack again, because he lost him a couple of times, and now we don't want to go there again. It's kind of like that sometimes, and it's kind of a silly way to look at it. Look, I mean, if you want to go and play tournaments, you better be ready to beat everybody. Even if you play the number one seed in the first round, you got to have the same mindset to go and try and beat everybody. You got to be ready to beat everybody that comes in front of you. So, this is really the mindset you have to have. But I can understand there's a lot of other factors, and there's social aspects to it. Oh, if so-and-so go, then I'll go, and if they don't go, I won't go. I've seen that as well. And these kids go online all the time and look at these tournament entries. But it is what it is. But I think, like I said, this is quite a different format. You're going to play 4 matches, whether you lose every one or not. If you win, you're going to play more, obviously. So it is just it's a little bit different. I like the compass draw thing. Kids play a lot more. They're going to have a lot more experience. They're going to learn by osmosis of what hurts and what didn't work, what worked, what didn't work. They're going to play diverse types of players, diverse cultures, and it's a great thing.
And I mean, especially for the younger age groups that aren't age eligible for ITF events, the international events, this is an international event right on home soil. It's awesome.
Exactly. And like I said, we are trying to expand over the next number of years into having a little bit of a circuit here in Florida. It's very easy to do in the summer. There's a lot of facilities that sit quite empty, and there's going to be some fun stuff coming down the pike.
Well, wonderful. Johan, I'm excited about this, and I hope my Parenting Aces audience really, takes the next step and clicks onto the website and takes a look at this tournament, and if it works in their family schedule, I really hope they sign up, because I think this is, I mentioned Little Mo and the age groups with Little Mo. This is along those same lines and can certainly work in conjunction, especially for the younger kids that are playing the Little Mo events. This is kind of an extension of that, one more opportunity to play within your birth year.
Exactly. And the option to play 1 year up, which is great too. But that's leave that up to the parents and the kids. If they feel like they can handle that type of workload, they should do that. But now I'm very excited about it, and I really appreciate you trying to help us promote this. Obviously, as we grow, we will have some other functionalities with the tournament. I would like to have maybe a parent seminar at some point. Probably not the first year, because we don't know how much work we're going to have and do things. But I really want to create a great experience for our kids and for our parents, and maybe there's some aspects to that I'd like to do. So maybe the weekend prior to the tournament start, during the camp at some point, we can schedule maybe something like a Parenting Aces type of seminar that parents can get some information about a lot of stuff. I mean, it'll be a fact-finding mission for me as a tournament owner to find out what parents really like to have and see happen, and what would they be interested in to have as an add-on to the tournament for them in terms of the junior tennis scene. So I think there's a lot of subject matter that can be covered. And the first year, we just want to get this tournament off the ground. It's going to grow, and we will have more of these probably in the next couple of years in the U.S.
Fantastic. Well, I'm in, Johan. I'm in.
Well, thank you so much.
To come talk.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you involved.
Well, thank you. Well, to my listeners, I hope you will check out the tournament. Again, the website links will be in the show notes, so be sure and take a look. And if this works in your family schedule, I surely hope you will take a good hard look at it and get your kids signed up. It's going to be a great event. Johan doesn't do anything halfway. I know if he's involved, it's going to be first class all the way. And Johan, thanks for giving us the opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you for helping us promote the tournament. But better yet, you do such a great job with helping our parents navigate this difficult path, which is not easy at times. So I look forward to speaking with you, and certainly I hope to see you here.
Thanks so much.
All the best.
I hope you enjoyed hearing from Johan and his plans for the Kriek Cup, and that you'll get your kids signed up. And just a reminder one more time about the Saul Schwartz Save College Tennis All-In tournaments. Just so you know, the net proceeds from our events this year are going into a fund to provide grants to college tennis programs at risk of being cut. So this really is a great cause and one that we hope you'll participate in. Hope to see you or to hear from you next week on Parenting Aces. Have a great week, everybody.
Don't miss a thing on Parenting Aces. Be sure to sign up for our free e-newsletter so you're among the first to know when a new article is posted. Simply go to parentingaces.com and enter your email address, then click subscribe in the Subscribe for Updates box on the left side of the page. I'm Lisa Stone, and you've been listening to the Parenting Aces podcast. For tennis parents, by a tennis parent. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to us and write a review on iTunes. For more information on navigating the junior and college tennis journey, visit us online at parentingaces.com. As always, a huge thank you to our sponsor, tennisballs.com.